Hello, dear students. You are welcome back to Shivarajan's teaching room. Today we will be having the fifth episode on the first chapter of plus 2 botany, reproduction in organisms. Hitherto we have discussed about the different methods of asexual reproduction. Now in this episode we will be discussing about the special features of sexual reproduction. So we have seen that sexual reproduction needs two parents, a male parent and a female parent. It's biparental. Then the male and female gametes are to be produced. The gametes have to fuse together to form a single cell called the zygote, and the zygote develops into the next young one. And the young ones or the offsprings will be varying in genetic structure from the parents. So the offspring show variations from the parents. So these are the features. So in connection with sexual reproduction, there are some special features. One, vegetative phase and juvenile phase. Second, estrous cycle and menstrual cycle. And third, seasonal breeders and continuous breeders. What is vegetative phase and juvenile phase? It is the period from birth till attaining maturity. So we can put it in this way, it is the period between birth and attaining sexual maturity. If we plant a seedling, a small plant grows up, it grows and becomes a big tree or big plant. After 2-3 years only it will start flowering. So once it begins to flower, it has attained sexual maturity. Up to that period, so from when it was a very small plant to the 3 years or 4 years when it was flowering, that period, what is it? That is juvenile. That is the vegetative phase in plants. And like a period is there in animals also like that. That period is juvenile phase. What is juvenile phase? The period from birth or the period between the birth and attaining sexual maturity. It is the period between the birth and the attaining sexual maturity. Suppose a boy is born, a child is born, it grows up. Now he or she is about 11 years or 12 years of age. Now the girl gets the first menstruation. That means she has become sexually mature. The boy also becomes sexually mature at this age. So from the day of birth till this day, what was that? It was the juvenile phase. Now I hope you have understood it. So what is vegetative phase? It is the period between birth and attaining sexual maturity. In plants it is called as vegetative phase, and animals it is called as juvenile phase. Then estrous cycle and menstrual cycle. What is estrous cycle and menstrual cycle? There are some cyclical changes going on in mammals once the animal has attained sexual maturity. So these cyclical changes in mammals is called as estrous cycle and menstrual cycle. And menstrual cycle is in primate mammals, and estrous cycle is in non-primate mammals. So what is estrous cycle? It is the periodic changes that takes place in non-primate mammals during the sexually active period. So horse, cat, rat, dog, cow, elephant, lion, tiger, these are all non-primate mammals. So who are primate mammals? Man, monkey, then apes. When you say apes, gibbons, orangutans, gorillas, chimpanzees, all these animals come under apes. So man, monkeys, apes, etc. are primate mammals. So what is a mammal? A mammal is an animal or organism that gives milk to its young ones, or that feeds milk to the young ones, are called the mammals. So primate mammals, man, monkeys, apes, etc., are having menstrual cycle, and non-primate mammals are having estrous cycle. So the periodic or the repetitive changes that takes place during the reproductive phase in non-primate mammals is estrous cycle, and primate mammals is menstrual cycle. Then seasonal breeders and continuous breeders. What is it? Some organism or some animals are mating or engaging in a reproductive process only during a particular period of the year, or only during a particular season of the year. Those animals are called the seasonal breeders. We have heard that some birds fly 4,000 to 5,000 kilometers from Russian region to Kumaragam in Kottayam in Kerala, and they spend 2-3 months here, and during this period of stay in Kottayam or in our place, they mate, lay eggs, and the eggs hatch out into young ones, and they fly back or go back with these young birds. So during this period of every year, they reproduce, they engage in reproduction. So they are seasonal breeders. Most of the wild animals are seasonal breeders. They also mate during a particular season of the year. But are continuous breeders, these are animals which are engaging a reproductive activity continuously throughout the reproductive period. Once they have attained sexual maturity, they will be continuously engaging this process till they lose the capacity. So they are the continuous breeders. So vegetative phase, juvenile phase, estrous cycle, menstrual cycle, seasonal breeders and continuous breeders, these are 3 important special features in connection with sexual reproduction. And in connection with the vegetative phase and juvenile phase, I have to mention some special features in plants. See, what is vegetative phase? The period from birth till attaining sexual maturity. In plants is called the vegetative phase. So, certain plants, for example bamboo plants, they flower only once in a lifetime. See, the mango tree flowers every year. It gets or it bears mango every year. So, but bamboo plant can flower or will flower only once in their lifetime. That too between 50 years to 100 years. So some species will flower at around 50 years, some will flower around 60 years, some 70 years. So like that it goes up to 100 years. So bamboo plants flower during or between 50 years to 100 years, and that too once only in a lifetime. And after this, these plants perish. That is the peculiarity of these plants. So what is the peculiarity of flowering in bamboo plants? The bamboo plants flower only once in 50 to 100 years, and that too only once in a lifetime. And the second specialty is about the Strobilanthes kundiana. Strobilanthes kundiana. So what is this plant? This is the botanical name or scientific name, Strobilanthes kundiana. Okay. And this plant is commonly called as Neelakurinji. This plant flowers only once in 12 years. So Strobilanthes kundiana is commonly called as Neelakurinji. This plant flowers only in once in 12 years. And this plant is spread all over the Nilagiri mountain ranges like a bushy plant. But when it flowers, there is a massive flowering. All the plants that are scattered over the whole mountain ranges flower at the same time, and we have a very beautiful panoramic beauty that the whole mountain ranges appears to be having covered with a blue velvet blanket. So that gives a very beautiful scenery, and to enjoy this natural beauty, people from all over the world come to our country, and we get a lot of foreign exchange. So what is the Spiculatus strobilanthus kunthiana? Strobilanthus kunthiana is commonly called as Nilakurinji. This plant flowers only once in 12 years, and it gives a very panoramic beauty, panoramic scene to the whole mountain ranges. The whole mountain ranges appears to be covered with a velvet blue blanket. And to see this rare, wonderful phenomenon, people from all over the world visit our country, and we get a lot of foreign exchange. So there is a tricky question about this. So what is this flowering pattern of Strobilanthus kunthiana and how it affects the economy of the state? The question is like that. The flowering of Strobilanthus kunthiana influences the economy of the state. How? A tricky question may be asked like that. So what can be the answer? The massive flowering of Strobilanthus kunthiana or Nilakurinji over the whole mountain ranges gives a very beautiful panoramic scene. The whole mountain appears to be covered with a blue velvet blanket, and to see this wonderful, beautiful nature, people from all over the world come to our place, to our country, and we get a lot of foreign exchange. This is the importance of Strobilanthus kunthiana. So these are the two special features in plants in connection with vegetative phase and juvenile phase. So, dear students, we will see the other features of sexual reproduction in our next episode. Bye.